It is a great opportunity and a great pleasure to have him in studio with us. You've heard him on the air several times. The attorney for Randy Henry, Mr. Chet Pleban, joining us in studio this morning. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning. Last time we visited, I was stuck in St. Louis, not able to enjoy this nice weather down here. Not so today.
Well, it's good to have you down.
Good to have you. But before we start, one thing I noticed in your great studios here.
Thank you.
You have a Kansas City Royals schedule up there, but I haven't seen any schedule for the St. Louis Cardinals.
We're a Royals affiliate.
I see. All right, but I'll send you a schedule anyhow.
I appreciate that. Yeah, being a St. Louis boy, but it's kind of hard not to root for the Royals because for so many years they were just. They were considered, I guess, the farm club for Major League Baseball.
And they are playing well. They are playing some fine baseball, and maybe we'll see another I-70 series again this year.
There was talk,
where we won't have an official, a referee that blows the call at first base.
Yeah. That's still a point of contention
for a lot of folks.
Yes, a very big point of contention for a lot of folks when the Cardinals lost that one to the Royals. But, again, great baseball on both sides of the state. Let's begin the conversation, and maybe we can start, Mr. Pleban, with an update on where we are with this trial. Of course, you had the pretrial last Friday.
We did, yes.
And how did that go? What was that? What was that like?
Well, it started off. We have a captain who is assigned now to rule on objections and motions and things like that. He's a non-voting member, and by statute, he is selected to preside over the hearing. Mm-hmm. And so the full procedural review board was not present last week, just this individual. A couple of days before we were scheduled to appear to argue a motion to dismiss based upon a whistleblower contention that we have, as well as a motion to disqualify the Attorney General's office. I received some information that the captain who was originally appointed to serve in that position, for whatever reason, recused himself. So he wasn't going to participate, and a new individual was appointed. So I said to Randy, do you know this individual? And he gave me some background. Well, I did a little quick research, only to come to find out that this individual, and I don't know how he was selected. I know how he wasn't selected, and that was by Randy. It was our first information when I received that. But anyhow, I find out that this gentleman, his boss, is named as a defendant, both individually and in her official capacity in the Ellingson lawsuit. So I said, well, wait a minute. This doesn't make any sense. So now you're going to rule, because obviously Randy Henry is a witness for the plaintiff in that, doesn't have very many good things to say about his organization and the way in which they've handled this tragic drowning. And so now you're going to make recommendations, and you're going to make rulings on motions such as the one that we have before the board last Friday. Mm-hmm. And now you're answering to this staff major. Surely this organization can find somebody that doesn't have any connection to the Ellingson lawsuit, and certainly one that's not named in the Ellingson lawsuit. So that is he took that under advisement, meaning I guess he was going to chew on that for a little while and then make a determination.
Have you heard anything since that particular time?
Have not.
No.
Have not. But in fairness, I had filed, they gave me a couple of days to file a memorandum of law in support of a particular issue. Right. I just filed that a couple of days ago. So I didn't expect to hear anything this soon. So we should hear something hopefully next week. But to give you a little executive summary, if you will, this all started when Randy Henry had a conversation a couple of hours after the drowning with Officer Piercy, who is the arresting officer. Mm-hmm. Randy's contention is that Piercy made some statements to him that later he changed. The patrol at the outset didn't want a report from Randy. Ultimately, they finally interviewed him, turning off the tape recorder when he started talking about operating water vessels with the highest degree of care, etc. Randy then sought the assistance of the Kansas City Star, sought the assistance of speaking to the Ellingson family, etc. Mm-hmm. The patrol found out about that. They sent him to a mental health care provider, not once but twice. to see if he was fit to be a police officer and carry a gun. During that process, of course, they didn't take his gun away. And then following that, there was a complaint, which has now been made public, filed by the prosecutor that was appointed as the special prosecutor in the Ellingson drowning case, in which she claimed that Randy obtained information and disseminated that information that involved a member of her family, and that he was doing that to discredit her. And so that is what we are in the process of hearing right now. Those are the substantive kind of issues. That's the executive summary of what's going on here.
So is there any idea why Trooper Piercy changed his statement from what he told Randy Henry to what he actually said? And I guess the statement said he made public. Do you think that came from higher ups? They pressured him to say what they told him to say as opposed to what actually happened, or what? Obviously, it's speculation to try and make a true, clear-cut statement on whether or not it's what he said versus what they said.
Well, the way in which this entire investigation has been handled is a mystery to me, and certainly you would think. Look, people make mistakes, and if you've made a mistake, go ahead and say that you made a mistake and mitigate the damage that's already been done. You don't exacerbate that damage by trying to do things to cover up, if you will, and that's really what Randy was saying. Listen, listen to what I have to say. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and put me on the witness stand during this antiquated coroner's inquest. I mean, we don't do that in St. Louis anymore. You have a grand jury, and you have things such as that determine probable cause issues. But go ahead and listen to what I have to say. Put it out all on the table, and then let a decision be made. Be it favorable to the patrol or unfavorable, it doesn't make any difference. But get it all out there. We've learned a long time ago with things like Richard Nixon that the worst thing that you can do, it's not the initial incident itself, it's the cover-up that creates the problems. And so, I don't know where all this is going. I know this, that there was the 1-year anniversary that occurred slightly over a month ago, I guess, and there is still no resolution to the criminal issues in this case. Now, I'm not in the business of indicting people. That's a story for another day. I'm not in the business of indicting anything to do with the Grellner issue. That's not my thing. Where we are right now is with respect to Randy Henry. What has occurred here and what formed the basis of the complaint is Randy's statement that he received information in the wake of all of this, in the wake of all of these objections that he had, in the wake of all his communications with the media, communications with the Ellingson family, the father of Brandon Ellingson, in the wake of his communication with the family lawyer, he makes the comment that the special prosecutor's son was investigated by the Missouri State Highway Patrol a couple of years ago and exonerated. And the upshot of his statement is, it looks like I scratch your back, you scratch my back, and therefore, is there a conflict of interest under those kinds of circumstances? And so he takes the position that he gets that information from the individual with the patrol that actually conducted that rape investigation. Mm-hmm. And what she tells him is that when she got the information, when she got the assignment to do the investigation, she was told that, here, look, do a DNA swab, make this go away. Now, we then took her deposition, the investigator's deposition, and that's available. If people want to see that, they can request a copy of the patrol. It's an open record now, and they can read it for themselves. And during that deposition, I said to her, was this a full and complete investigation designed to search for the truth who raped a 14-year-old girl, or was this an effort just simply to exonerate the son of a prosecutor? She said, no, it was a full search for the truth. Now, if you read the deposition, you don't have to rely upon my conclusions or my opinions. But my opinion is that it was anything but a search for the truth, because she got a DNA swab which did not match the son of the prosecutor, but that's where the tale ended, despite the fact that there was DNA evidence that matched somebody out there, and she never bothered to pursue that claim. And, you know, the special prosecutor she's filed a complaint against Randy Henry. She's critical of Randy Henry. But we have evidence that will suggest that she asked the patrol to do an investigation as it pertained to her son. And her request was, look, do a thorough investigation. Leave no stone unturned. Look at this. Look at every aspect of this. And so when I read the deposition of the investigator that actually did the investigation, right, there were not only stones that weren't unturned, there were boulders that needed to be looked at. And so really, if she's genuine in that request, and I've got no reason to believe that she wasn't, her complaint is really not with Randy Henry. It's with the Missouri State Highway Patrol, because they didn't do what she asked them to do.
Mm-hmm. 9:26 is our time. Our guest is Attorney Chet Pleban. He is representing Randy Henry. We got to take a break here, but I just, so many things that we've sat here and talked about in the last 10 minutes or so, just so many red flags come to mind. If people are listening and have been following this at all, so many red flags come to mind. And it kind of goes back, in my opinion, is to what you said, the sense that if there was a mistake made, why not just admit the mistake and move on? It would seem to me like that would be the best course of action, rather than trying to shut people down and certainly ruin a man's career who has been with this organization for so many years and is so very well respected. Certainly, you talk to a lot of people here at the Lake of the Ozarks. You mentioned Randy's name, and you hear nothing but great things. So maybe at some point something will happen. Somebody will sit up and realize that, dragging this through the mud the way that we are is something that is not necessary. Who knows? And I guess we'll find out here in the very near future.
The person with the least to gain is Randy Henry. I mean, he's criticizing his own organization. That's not a career enhancer.
9:27 is our time. You're listening to The Morning Magazine on KRMS.
The 27th Annual Shootout is more than just a race. It's the largest fundraiser the Lake community has each and every year. Hi, this is Dave Leathers, publisher of the official program guide of the Shootout. This weekend, as you watch the hundreds of racers and thousands of spectators flock to the lake, take a second to reflect on the fire departments and charities that are the real shootout winners this weekend. The Lake of the Ozarks Shootout, a community celebration that is second to none.
When everyone in the house is trying to download music, stream movies, or stay connected on social media all at once on different devices, it can be a drag, literally. Your internet connection could slow down to a crawl. But not Charter Spectrum Internet. With speeds starting at 60 megabits per second, get the bandwidth you need to do it all. And all for only $29.99 a month when bundled. Just call 844-855-2999. The next time you have to wait for a download, the next time your streaming movie isn't exactly streaming. Remember, Charter Spectrum Internet gives you the bandwidth you need. Download, stream, game, share, and more. All at once on all of your devices. Only $29.99 a month when bundled. Call now. 844-855-2999. 844-855-2999. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Shawnee Bluff Vineyard does it again. Saturday, September 5th. Don't miss the music of Asleep at the Wheel.
The House of Blue Lights.
Tickets on sale now. Log on to Facebook.com Shawnee Bluff Vineyard for ticket information. Early bird specials are available by using the code words EARLY10.
Get your kicks out on Route 66.
Guaranteed to make you tap your toe and put a smile on your face.
That's the mile.
Asleep at the Wheel, Saturday, September 5th at Shawnee Bluff Vineyard.
Hi, this is Bill Lacasse from SRG Financial Advisors, located right here in Osage Beach. I am proud to be your local USA Financial Advisor, and I invite you to listen this Saturday morning to the USA Financial Headquarters Show. Each week, this informative and entertaining program answers some of the burning financial questions you've been asking me. Be sure to tune in each and every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. right here on KRMS.
I have no more campaigns to run. I know because I won both of them.
Talking points, not serious solutions.
News Talk 1150, KRMS.
9:30, we're back with hour number one of the KRMS Morning Magazine. Our guest in studio is Chet Pleban. He is the attorney for Randy Henry. See if maybe we can take a quick phone call here. Caller, I appreciate you jumping in this morning. You're on KRMS. Good morning.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I'm listening. I also went to the pretrial last week. I am just absolutely amazed that we have this situation going on. It was bad enough that the Ellingson drowning happened. We see this continued. Now we're seeing a situation with an elected official involved in this situation. After reading the press release from that side this past week, I'm shocked. I just wanted to get it out there that I'm absolutely appalled that this is happening, and I wanted to give a big thank you to the attorney that you have on right now and say thank you for fighting this fight for us. I appreciate that.
Thanks for the phone call. 9:31.
Well, let me say, we've been criticized, and with respect to Ms. Grellner and her son, I want to say we didn't put those names out there. Actually, it was the Attorney General that put those names out there. Mm-hmm. And now, we have the press release. I think that the caller was referring to is a press release that we got last week. From the lawyer who represents Amanda Grellner. There is a different lawyer who represents the son now. And we've been criticized for wanting to take the deposition of the son. And now the press release that they put out this week was, Amanda Grellner has agreed to be deposed by us. Well, that's not true because as the press release indicates, and you've got a copy of it there, mm-hmm. as it indicates, she's agreed to be deposed, but we can't ask her any questions really about the complaint that she filed was disseminating untruthful or confidential, whatever she phrased it, information about the rape investigation. So that would be a short deposition. And the reason, we've been criticized that saying we're just harassing this young man and doing this, that, and the other thing, and this is all designed to embarrass him, et cetera. Well, it's not, because frankly, the Professional Standards Division, in investigating this complaint relating to Randy Henry, interviewed the son of the prosecutor. Mm. And so if they're going to interview him, then I think I at least have a right to take a deposition. Now, sure. Let me say this. That individual, the son of the prosecuting attorney here, enjoys the presumption of innocence. Constitutionally, he enjoys the presumption of innocence. I am not saying that anyone is guilty of any criminal conduct here. That's not my role. That's not Randy Henry's role. That's not what this case is about. That's a whole story for another day. What we are saying is that the statements that Randy Henry made, he had a reasonable belief to rely that what he was being told by the investigator who actually did the rape investigation, that information was accurate, certainly, and he had a right to rely upon it. I mean, he knew nothing about any sort of rape investigation that was being conducted by the patrol until this individual mentioned it to him.
Right.
And she was upset, frankly, with the way in which the situation and the drowning situation was being handled, because she came from Water Patrol and the water side of it, and now she was a member of the Missouri State Highway Patrol family that they merged together. So she was not happy with that, and that's what stimulated the conversation. She was helping Randy Henry behind the scenes, and she knew at the time that she was helping Randy Henry, that he was talking to the news media, that he was talking to the Ellingson family, and she was helping him presumably because she was not satisfied herself with the situation. So, bottom line is this: that I don't know what happened here. That press release says that the young lady, the 14-year-old, said that the son of the prosecutor was not responsible. Well, I have information that that's not true. It also says that Amanda Grellner requested the Highway Patrol do the investigation with respect to this at the behest of the family of the victim. I have information that that's not true. Okay, so there's a lot of issues here, but at the end of the day, I think that probably everybody would be satisfied if there is a full, fair, objective, and complete investigation, not only from the standpoint of that rape investigation, because it seems to me like that victim deserves some answers, but also the Ellingson family deserves some answers. And I am flabbergasted, Kevin, at the way in which this whole thing has been handled from day one. We have cover-up type issues. We have conflict type issues. We have a captain that comes in here who answers to a person who's named in the Ellingson lawsuit. We have the Missouri Attorney General's office in this thing. I mean, they're representing everybody except Randy Henry.
Right.
I mean,
we've discussed that.
How in the world can anybody be fair here?
We've got a couple of callers on the line. Callers, I see you there. Hold on for just a moment. The question for you is this person that gave Randy Henry the initial information on what we're talking about now, has anybody approached that person and said, is there anything that you can add to this? Have you tried to get that person to speak to you or get a deposition from this particular person in order to confirm or deny how all of this became an issue as of right now?
Yeah, the individual who told Randy Henry that when she was assigned the rape case, that she was told, here, do a DNA swab, make it go away, all right? Which is what Randy Henry ultimately repeated. We did take her deposition.
Right.
Absolutely take her deposition. And it's my opinion and my conclusions that there was less than a complete, shall we say, investigation done by her. And I believe that she is a competent investigator. And so you have to wonder why it is that it wasn't complete. And as I said, people can request that deposition and read it. You don't rely upon my opinion. You can read it for yourself because it's a matter of public record. Make a request of the Missouri State Highway Patrol because it's attached to my motion to dismiss.
9:38. We've got a couple of callers on the line. Caller, we'll start with you. You're on KRMS. Good morning.
Well, first off, I apologize. I'm walking, so I can't hear the radio, so it doesn't sound like this is open calling.
I'm sorry?
Is this open calling? I'm not where I can hear the radio. I didn't hear what you got going on. I was just going to pass some information over.
No, we are actually right now in the middle of doing an interview. If you'd like to call back a little bit later
I'll call
on.
back.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. 9:38 is our time. Back to the phones we go. Caller, good morning. You're on KRMS.
Hi. I have two questions. The first one is just clarification. This hearing is about Randy Henry's demotion and transfer, or is it about something else?
No, it's about Randy Henry's demotion. The transfer, they take the position that it's for the good of the patrol. I'm not sure how that happens, but anyhow, it's about his demotion, and that will be occurring it's currently scheduled for September the 28th and 29th. Of course, we're having problems with people honoring depositions. I sent out frankly a deposition notice to depose Ms. Grellner. And unless I will agree to limit my questions consistent with their desires, that I will not ask her anything about the complaint that she filed, they're not going to appear for the deposition.
And you have to submit you have to submit a list of those questions ahead of time, don't you?
No. This is a Q&A.
Okay.
Just like we're having right now.
Right, okay.
But the lawyer, who's a very, very competent lawyer in Jefferson City, I've dealt with him before. Very, very good lawyer. But he takes the position, hey, look, if you're going to ask my client any questions about essentially what I will say about the complaint that she filed, she's not going to answer those. But I guess we can talk about the weather or whatever else. I don't know. So now, if we want to enforce that subpoena, what we have to do is we got to go to court, which is more expense to Randy Henry, money that he doesn't have. And so I don't know where this is going, but currently it's the hearing itself is scheduled for September 28th and 29th. I guess if we want her deposition, we've got to go someplace else to try to find that, which may abort the setting on the 28th. I don't know.
My other question, which is more important, is I keep reading and hearing that Randy Henry still hasn't been told what the cause or violation was for which he's being disciplined, and is that state policy, or is that the highway patrol? Is this normal conduct? Because if it is, I think we need to be calling our state congressmen and telling them they need to fix that right now. Everybody should have a right to know what they are charged with before action is taken against them.
Well, no. I think there's a lot of reasons that maybe you should call your state congressman to talk about this case. But as far as what the actual allegation is, yes, he's been told that the allegation is based upon the complaint that was filed by Amanda Grellner, and that he obtained information pertaining to this criminal investigation conducted by Corporal Stacy Mosier, and without confirming it or certainty as to the facts, he disseminated the information beyond the proper lines of communication, whatever that means, to discredit the Osage County prosecuting attorney, Ms. Grellner, and unduly criticize the patrol and its employees. So, truth is a defense.
Caller,
okay, thank you.
Thanks for the phone call. 9:41 is our time. Again, we need to take another break. Just an outside question: where do you think the governor is in all of this? I mean, has anybody?
I'd say where he's not. He's not in Ferguson.
Well, but and just out of curiosity, I mean, because this is a major issue. If this thing blows up, and
well, speaking of Ferguson, okay, we were a national embarrassment, and when I say we, I've been living in the state of Missouri now for many, 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 many years. Okay, This is my home. All right, this state is my home. And, I have relatives. I came from the East, but I have relatives all over the place. And they read about this stuff, and they say, well, what is going on out there? I go to other states, and they say to me, what in the world? And so now, on top of that, you have another law enforcement issue that's coming up, where a guy that has nothing to gain and probably everything to lose is saying his own organization is not playing cards face up. And so now, I'm going to guess that ultimately this situation is going to make national news sooner or later. You've got a young man who tragically died. All right, tragically died. We're still investigating that. The guy who was responsible for putting the wrong life jacket on him is still, patrolling the highways in the state of Missouri. Nothing has happened to him. There is no resolution to the criminal matter, and Randy Henry now is demoted. Or will soon be demoted when the rubber stamp falls on this case after September the 28th. And he's driving 3 hours round trip from his home at the North Shore of the Lake of the Ozarks to Truman Lake. Is that right?
9:43, back with more after this. We'll take some more of your phone calls as well on KRMS.
It's the Lake of the Ozarks magazine, LO Profile. Hi, I'm Missy Martinette Pinkel, owner and publisher of LO Profile magazine. It's the hot summer edition, 2-in-1. The boating issue with fast boats, hot swimwear, and summertime water events, including bombshells and boats. And the great book of entertainment, dining, and nightlife. You'll find everything at the Lake of the Ozarks in your LO Profile magazine, distributed statewide. That's loprofile.com.
Best Light Hauling and Moving, the best movers at the lake. Now with full-service storage, including climate control. Call them to schedule your move. 280-5339. Their experienced crew will make your move stress-free and easy. They know how to protect your furniture, walls, and home. Best Light Hauling and Moving has been voted #1 at the lake for more than 8 years. Best Light Hauling and Moving, the hardest working crew at the lake. Call them 280-5339.
Shogren Performance Marine is your global dealer for Mystic Power Boats and a large selection of used boats. The winning reputation of their performance boats and a 45,000 square foot indoor showroom makes Shogren Performance Marine the biggest and best dealer in the U.S. They offer Mercury Platinum service and sales of new and pre-owned boats. For the largest selection of offshore power boats in the country, contact Shogren Performance Marine, your global dealer for Mystic Power Boats, 847-336-9037, or visit teamshogren.com.
Know who's your captain.
Hi, this is Captain Ray Bixler. My company provides professional licensed captains to pilot your boat or rental.
Who'syourcaptain.com.
Hey, remember that island here at the lake that Mom and Dad used to take us to go swimming when we were kids? Well, wasn't it called Hawaiian Island or something?
It's so weird you're asking about that. We just looked at some units there last week. Now it's called Isla del Sol condominiums.
Oh, yeah, I heard about those condos. How was the ferry ride?
Actually, there isn't a ferry anymore. They built a roadway so you can drive right on over. Oh my gosh, you should see this place. It's perfect. Right on the main channel, incredible views, and the kids love the pool.
I didn't know you guys were looking at condos.
Yeah, no maintenance and close to everything by water. It's perfect for us. So we talked to Tina Stotler. She's the broker for Isla del Sol, and she's so nice. She told us they're taking $5,000 off the list price, and these are move-in ready units. Plus, we can get a free boat slip up to 14 by 36.
Maybe I should check them out. What's their website?
Isla del Sol, LakeOzark.com. ISLADELSOL, LakeOzark.com.
Whoa, that looks like a resort-style pool, and units starting at only $154.9. I'm calling Tina Stotler right now.
Isla del Sol Condominiums, your private island paradise, right here at the lake. Get more out of this year's shootout with your smartphone. Text SHOOTOUT to 62687 and receive real-time boat speeds, class winners, and information about the little-known events and vendor specials you don't want to miss. Again, text SHOOTOUT to 62687 now.
Oil prices slimmed to a 5-year low. A middle-class tax cut paid for with a tax hike.
News Talk 1150, KRMS.
9:47 is our time. My guest in studio, Mr. Chet Pleban, the attorney for Randy Henry. And we've got calls on the line, so we'll get to those calls. Caller, I appreciate you holding through the break here on KRMS. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a question. In a couple of the local papers, I have seen Mr. Henry or Officer Henry sitting at a table, and someone was behind him. To me, it looked like it was Ron Replogle. He's superintendent of Highway Patrol in Springfield. Is that right?
He is the former superintendent of the Missouri State Highway Patrol. Johnson's the current superintendent. And yes, indeed, then Colonel Replogle was sitting next to Randy Henry in one of the shots that you saw.
Okay, so my question is I know that Ron Replogle retired, and I heard what he said publicly as to why. Does one thing have anything to do with the other?
Well, Randy Henry, when the shot that you're talking about is when Randy Henry appeared in front of a legislative committee hearing. He appeared in front of that hearing not once but twice to talk. They wouldn't talk about the Ellingson drowning situation, but they were talking about training. And Randy was told it like it was, as a matter of fact. And the second time that he appeared was because Randy was told, you better, when you're in that uniform, you better support the patrol. Randy said, okay, fine, I'm going to tell it like it is. And so the next time that Randy appeared, you'll notice that those photographs show him in a business suit, and he appeared on his own time so that he could tell what he knew without any limitation from the patrol and without the superintendent obviously sitting next to him. Now, how I don't need a house to follow me to figure out what was going on there. So,
okay. So, do you think that Ron Replogle retired because of what he perceived was going to be coming down?
Oh, I don't know. Rep Logal is named in. I don't know Ron Rep Logal. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the ins and the outs. I'm sure they'll take his deposition. I think that they did take his deposition last week. He is a named defendant in the Ellingson multi-million-dollar lawsuit. He's named in his official capacity and in his individual capacity, along with the current superintendent, Johnson, who is named in that suit, together with several other people who were involved in this tragic death.
Okay. All right. Well, I was just curious about that because I know him, and I just wondered what was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, from everything I hear about him, I think he's a pretty good guy, from what I understand. But that doesn't mean that the decisions that he made in this, whatever they were, are the correct ones. But I think that'll be ferreted out in the lawsuit. The Ellingson family is represented by Matt Bowles, who is a very competent lawyer, and I'm sure that hopefully he'll get to the bottom of all this eventually.
9:50 is our time. Again, in this particular instance, I wonder if it would be smart to talk to Mr. Pogel or someone who knew him and, basically figure out if he had planned on retiring anyway before all of this happened. A lot of people, they make a decision at some point in their career that, I'm going to retire at this age or that age, so we don't really know.
I don't know. I don't know what the circumstances are. All I know is right now I'm dealing with the current superintendent, and I'm not real happy about having to deal with the current superintendent, not the least of which involves his appointing the attorney general to represent everybody and their dog in this case, other than Randy Henry, including appointing the attorney general to represent the procedural hearing board, which is supposed to be an unbiased, fair, and impartial body who makes a decision as to whether or not the discipline imposed by this current superintendent, who is a named defendant in the Ellingson lawsuit, whether that decision is proper or improper and whether it's supported by evidence. So the attorney general, the same attorney general who is representing Johnson, the current superintendent, in the multi-million-dollar lawsuit, is representing this supposedly unbiased procedural review board. Now, go figure.
9:51, almost 9:52. Caller, I appreciate you holding on. You're on KRMS. Good morning.
Is that me?
Yes.
Oh, hi, KB.
Hello.
I won't tell you my name, but I've worked for the Highway Patrol for 23 years. I haven't worked there. I was not working there when this whole thing happened. I haven't worked there for a couple of years, but as far as your last caller, Ron, I don't know why Replogo has decided to retire, but I mean, it could have something to do with this, but I don't know. I wasn't there when this all happened. I thought it's terrible, but I'm going to go a little more philosophical here. The Highway Patrol, and believe me, I've worked there long enough to know their primary, and there's a lot of very, very good people who work there, and the officers. Most of them are excellent police officers. But when something happens, they retract back into, we have to protect our image, and they're not being successful right now, but that's their attitude. We have to protect our image.
Well, I would respectfully disagree with that. My experience with the Missouri State Highway Patrol, I was appointed several years ago to represent them because the then Attorney General, who was Bill Webster, had a conflict. They were accused of wiretapping in-house.
I was there when that happened.
Okay, and so you know that Mel Fisher.
In fact, one of the offices I had was one of the rooms that was wiretapped. Had been.
Okay, so you know that Fisher, he's the one that established the Professional Standards Division. We came in there; it made national news. We were cards up, and people were disciplined for that. And despite the fact, and actually there was a lawsuit that was filed, or several lawsuits, frankly, that were filed in that case. And so I know that there are conflicts that arise with the Attorney General, similar to the conflict in this case, because that conflict was resolved by appointing outside counsel, which was me. So don't tell me that this is the first rodeo that the Highway Patrol has had with respect to appointing outside counsel for conflict. And I know it's a cost-saving thing, but spend a couple of bucks, get out of this case, Attorney General, and let somebody that doesn't have a horse in the race decide what these issues are.
954 caller, we appreciate it. We're running up against the clock. We're going to try to get as many calls in as possible and then get some final words from Mr. Pleban on this situation. Caller, go ahead. You're on KRMS.
Just a simple question. Is Henry getting reimbursed for his commute?
For his what?
For his commute to work.
Is he getting reimbursed for his commute back and forth?
Oh, I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know.
I'm curious.
My guess, probably not, but that's my guess.
Well, I mean, my question would be, because that sits there and it gets thrown out a bunch, the fact that he is having to commute an hour and a half away, which
right.
I understand is inconvenient, but I guess I'm more curious, is he getting reimbursed for his commute, or is he having to do this on personal time?
Well, no. He doesn't do it on his personal time. That 3 hour, it's round trip, 3 hours, is part of his duty time. Mm-hmm. Now, if that's what you're asking me, I can answer that. I don't know whether he's getting reimbursed for probably not mileage, because he has a patrol vehicle. So I would think that he uses that patrol vehicle, so there's no reimbursement on that. But your tax dollars are if you're asking me, your tax dollars are paying his salary to sit in a truck to go from North Shore Lake of the Ozarks down to Truman Lake.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the phone call. 956. Let's take one more call. Caller, go ahead. You're on KRMS.
Yes, I was wondering, I had a couple of questions. First, did I understand that correctly, that Grellner will not depose? And number two, I don't know if it's so much of a question, but the Mosier deposition that anybody can read on We Support Randy Henry Facebook page, I had some really serious questions about the lack of investigation, and that Mosier also works for Kids Harbor. So these lack of investigation, I'm real concerned about that, and maybe he could answer that question. Is that correct? Grellner will not depose?
Well, according to the press release, they say, well, here, listen, we'll do a deposition, but we're not going to answer any of those questions about that rape investigation, which served as the basis of her complaint against Randy Henry, which serves as the basis of the charges now and the reason for the demotion. So the answer to the question is yes, she'll be deposed, but not about really anything that's relevant to this case. Is certainly my position. In terms of the website, we don't. Randy and I don't run the website, so I don't know what's on there, not on there. I can tell you that if you ask the Missouri State Highway Patrol, since all of this now is a matter of public record, you can obtain whatever documents were filed, which includes a motion to dismiss. It's the Mosier deposition. It's a whole variety of documents that they. My understanding is they will provide those to you, along with a tape recording, I think, of the hearing last Friday.
Got about a minute and a half, 2 minutes left here. Just real quick, some final thoughts on where this might be headed, or at least where you think it's headed at this particular point.
Well, sooner or later, the truth has to come out here in all respects. I mean, you can't pile one conflict on top of another. One bad investigation on top of another bad investigation, and at the end of the day, all we're saying is, look, do the right thing. Do the right thing, both from the standpoint of that little girl who was raped, and do the right thing as far as the young man who tragically lost his life down here at a fine lake of the Ozarks, and hopefully this won't get national attention. Hopefully we'll get this resolved. We'll do the right thing so that our state once again is not the laughingstock of the country.
Our guest, Mr. Chet Pleban, the attorney for Randy Henry. Thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure.
Appreciate
again,
it.
Kevin.
And
My pleasure.
I know you'll keep us updated, and we'll definitely get you back on as soon as we find out more. We'll take our final break. It's going to take us up to the top of the hour. Thanks so much for listening. Stick around for hour number 2 of the Morning Magazine on KRMS. We'll be joined in studio by Ike Skelton.